Hello, I'm Jennifer Bellingrodt with Love Letters by Jennifer. And as you can see, I'm on the floor of my craft room as usual, getting ready for fall. I've got a couple of items here that I'm getting ready. But I just wanted to stop and take some time today to address an issue that I know a lot of us crafters have experienced in one way, shape, or form. And that is just figuring out how to get your items sold or get your product out there for people to see. So I've been doing the world of handmade for a few years, and I've noticed some common complaints. So a lot of times people don't know how to get going, how to get started, or they get frustrated and they want to quit because they're not selling anything, or they've got people lowballing them and offering them less for the item than what they actually have invested in it. I've had that happen more than once. And it's insulting, but people just don't know. People just don't know all of the time and resources and tools and energy that go into creating something handmade, especially something that has a lot of detail or a lot of embellishments. A lot of people just don't understand that. So don't be insulted, but I do have some ideas for you about how to get your name out there, how to get your product out there, and hopefully how to sell your items. So I am just giving you information that I've learned. I'm not remotely close to famous and don't intend to be, and I certainly don't have it all figured out. But doing this for the past few years, I've learned a few things and picked up other things from other crafters. And I thought I would just take some time to kind of compile all of these pieces of information. So, crafting is just a sideline for me. I'm a psychologist by day, and I call crafting my own personal therapy. So, that's what keeps me sane. And it's never going to pay my bills. I just don't have the time to invest in it at that level. But when someone buys an item from me here and there, it just keeps me in crafting supplies so that I can stay sane. Plus, crafting has fewer calories than wine. So, this is my choice. So over the years, feeling enough frustration from myself and from other people, I've done some research, and I've gathered a bunch of information. So I just want to say that the information that I'm going to present here is in no way intended to be financial or legal advice of any kind. You're responsible for doing the research on all aspects of your business, making good choices, smart decisions about payments and customers, and ensuring your safety. I'm just here to share some things that I've learned. And I'm including ideas for all levels of experience and ability. So some of these ideas may seem pretty basic. And if so, just listen on and hopefully you'll pick up something down the way. If you have feedback for me, or certainly if there are ways to sell that you've experienced or are aware of that I don't mention, please do put those in the comments for everyone to see. We're all here to learn. So, as I said, I'm just sharing. And if you guys have anything to share, that would be well received. Thank you. So, one more thing, the video is going to be pretty long because I'm covering a lot of ground. So, just know that you can pause and restart and whatever, and YouTube will save your place if you're on that same device. So, you can break it up and watch it here and there. I like to watch videos or listen to podcasts while I'm getting ready in the morning, or while I'm cooking, or organizing my craft room, or something like that. So, just here and there. And I have a tendency to talk really fast, so I'm going to try to slow it down so that folks can take notes if they're interested in that. All right, so here we go. What are the things you can do to increase your product exposure and sales? First and foremost, go for free. So take advantage of that free social media. Facebook is my current favorite. That's my go to and the main place that I am trying to sell products. And I boycotted Facebook for a long time for various reasons. But when I wanted to start a craft business, I gave in and chose to take advantage of the free option. And the free advertising will reach actually hundreds or thousands of people. And then you can also boost your post for $5, $10, $20, $30 and up. And you can reach a lot more people that way. I've done that before, and it does reach a lot more people, at least based on the report that Facebook gives you. But that is an option, especially to do before a craft show or something like that. So, how do we go about this? First, you want to set up a Facebook business page for free. So, when you go into Facebook, it's going to give the option for business and personal. You want to set up a business page. make sure that you do business versus personal, or you're not going to be able to access all of the benefits that I'm about to go through in terms of Facebook. So if you do also have a personal page, that's great. You can build up your friends and then invite your friends from your personal page to your professional or business page. And don't worry about bothering people, because they have the option to decline if they're not interested. They're not automatically enrolled in anything or anything like that. And you're not forcing them to subscribe. They have the choice. And then as you make more friends over time on Facebook, you can periodically go back and click on the Invite Friends tab and invite more of your friends to follow your page. When you do post an item on Facebook, you want to post at least 4 pictures of your items. So what I normally do is like a far away or distance shot, a close-up shot, maybe a shot from the side, and then I'll post close-ups of particular items, particular pieces on the wreath. So either the burlap or the mesh, the flowers, the embellishments, several different angles and pieces of the product. And what that does is, in order for people to see the rest of the pictures, of course, they have to click on it, because Facebook only puts a few of those up there. And that lets you know through the metrics that Facebook tracks for you how many people are being reached by your product and what kind of post engagement you've had. And the reaching is really simple to discern. So here's a Facebook post that I did. And you can see in the bottom, there we go, where it says how many people are reached. So that's just at the bottom of the post. And this is what I'm talking about with the different setups. So you've got lots of different pictures. You click on the plus here, and then it's going to show you all the different pictures. You can scroll through and look at those. So that engages people more, and certainly what we want is post engagement. So several different angles and shots, and then you can track those. And you can see what, by the exposure or the reach, you can see more about what people, or the engagement, you can see more about what people are interested in, and that gives you an idea of about what items may sell in the future. So it's not a guarantee, but it's a helpful piece of your marketing. So if I notice that a particular style, like let's say the mesh curls, that style is getting a lot of interest, a lot of engagement, or burlap, anything farmhouse burlap, those are huge right now. So if I see that those kinds of things are getting a lot of interest or engagement, or both, then I may make a few of those items and post those for other people to choose from, or make those items and take them to craft shows. You can actually schedule your posts ahead of time. This is a great feature if you're like me and you don't remember every day or every other day or what have you, to go in and post on your page. So you can set them to post at certain days and certain times. You can just go like you're going to post, and then it'll ask you to share, and at the bottom it'll say share now. You just select schedule, and then it'll let you schedule a date. You can also save a draft that way if you're not ready to post it or not done with drafting the post. And then you don't have to remember to post. Like I said, it automatically does it for you, and this is free of charge with your business page. Then under the activity and insights tabs, you can explore the various metrics that I mentioned earlier. You can see what engagement you've had in particular posts, what reach, and then you can also discern when the best time to post is. So it gives you some data on that, when people are most active on Facebook or on your page. Second, you can join and post to various online yard sale pages for free. So this is another benefit of Facebook, the first one being with the posting, and then this one is joining those free pages. And you want to make sure you get all of the rules and read every single expectation so that you don't get scolded or banned from the site or what have you. Some people are really particular about business posts, and even if you're not a big business selling these items, you're still considered a business because you are trying to sell something that's something other than you would probably find at a yard sale or garage sale. So you are considered a business, and there are a lot of guidelines that some of the pages have about when businesses can post, and some don't let you post at all. So just make sure you're mindful of that. You can read that description at the top of the page or in the pinned post or something like that. It'll tell you what the rules are. Third, take advantage of Facebook Marketplace. So that's the little storefront at the bottom of your Facebook page. Like if you have it open in your app, it's at the bottom of the app. And that's another free sales site that shows local items in your area. And what's cool about that is if you are looking, if somebody logs on and they're looking for, or they click on a wreath that's for sale by somebody else, it will show them other posts that they may be interested in. So what it does is it actually pulls, let's say, your wreaths, my wreaths, whoever is around in that area with items similar to the one that the customer, potential customer, is looking at. So that's really cool because it gives people a lot of options. And that gets your name out there for free. And then fourth, join Facebook craft sites, and you can get inspiration, or you can join craft sales sites to market your items. I find that a lot of the people that are on the sales sites, they're crafters as well. So there's not necessarily a lot of purchasing that comes from there necessarily. But again, I'm about taking advantage of all the free options for exposure, and you just never know. A sale is a sale is a sale. So there is other social media. There's Instagram, which is really popular with the millennial generation. I don't tend to have those folks as customers very often, so I don't spend time posting on that outlet, but it is an option. There's also Twitter and Snapchat. Twitter's not really set up for this kind of thing, and then with Snapchat, the pictures disappear after a time. So to me, those aren't worth the time investing, but for some people that works. Or if you have a particular item that appeals to a younger generation, then you might want to look at those avenues. And then if you want to post to multiple places, nowadays you can share your post from one place to another. So Facebook will let you share to Instagram and vice versa. And you'll see those options when you're doing sharing. But it's not that difficult to proliferate yourself, really, if you just take a little time to learn how. You might have to do a search or something like that, but you can get a lot of information on how to do that. Okay, so that's everything that I have about Facebook. Secondly, we're looking for free online sales sites. So this is like Craigslist, OfferUp, LetGo, these sites where you can post your items for free. And they're not social media per se, but they are proliferated in the local area. And particularly if somebody does a search, then your items can come up. Just make sure your descriptions are really detailed, and you want to use a lot of tags. Like if I'm posting a wreath, I'll put wreath, I'll put the materials like burlap, flowers, I'll put, rustic, I might say, home decor, some more general tags, but just as many tags as you can think of. So if somebody does a search and they hit one of your keywords, then your post will come up. Okay, so those pictures or those tags are used as keywords for the searches, like I said. Again, you want to make sure that you thoroughly read the rules and expectations so that you don't get kicked off those sites. And a big one is to beware of the scams that certain people try to run on these sites. You certainly don't want to send any product without receiving payment first, unless you're doing cash at pickup or delivery. Don't be fooled by offers to send you more money than the item is worth and then have you write a check and send it back to them or send it to their agent, they like to call them. So generally, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Let's see. I think that's it on scamming. It's just really disappointing to me that apparently some people don't have better things to do than try to make money by scamming other people. Frankly, I'm not sure how they sleep at night, but that's just me. So, if you're requesting payment ahead of time versus cash at pickup or delivery, you want to make sure that you use a well-known, respected method for doing that. So some of those are PayPal, Venmo, Square, or my favorite is Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger is like PayPal. You just attach a debit card, but there are no fees on either end. Now, you will have to do that from your personal page. You can't send it from or receive it on your business page. I assume that's just how they keep the costs low and keep it a free option for for users. And as with anything where you're interacting with other people you don't know, take precautions to ensure your safety. So I generally have people come to me to pick the item up unless I know them, have worked with them before, or I know someone who knows them well. Then I can meet them somewhere or something like that by myself. You can certainly have the customer pay ahead of time and then just do porch pickup. So they can pay you on Facebook Messenger, and then you put it out in your courtyard, or if there's a sheltered area part of your porch, and then they can pick it up at their leisure. And that seems impersonal, but again, the primary thing is safety. And then that's also a really convenient option. You'll see a lot of people put PPU in their posts on Facebook, and that just means porch pickup. So remember, if it doesn't feel safe, it's not worth it. It's really just not worth it, and you should stay away from that. Okay, in terms of payment, I would strongly recommend that you not take checks for obvious reasons, such as, if they bounce or you get an insufficient funds charge or something like that. But also because scammers like to use checks. They like to send checks that are written on someone else's account and try to get you to cash those. I had this happen. I sell Scentsy as well. And someone sent me a check for, a ridiculous amount of money. And it was drawn on someone else's bank account. And I knew by reading that it was a scam, but I just wanted to see exactly where that was going to go and then also try to report them. By the time I reported them, they had already been caught. So that was good. Somebody else was paying attention. Of course, you never want to ship a product without payment. So you're like a retailer. You don't go to a store and get an item and say, gee, I'll pay you for this later. That's not going to happen. You have to think of yourself in that same way as a retailer and ensure that you get the payment first. And one of the things that I try to remember with this is that if somebody protests or something like that, generally the person who's buying the item has less of a reputation to protect than the business that's selling the item. So I'm not going to ruin my reputation by not sending an item, but some stranger from another state or even from my own zip code may not have a problem, not paying for the item. So it's really about a business reputation. And then trust me, there are some businesses that are scams too. So that's not a global thing or a general rule per se, but I do try to kind of think of it that way. But here's the bottom line. If somebody balks at your request that you pay up front, just move on. Just move on to the next customer. I know you want the sale. We all want those sales, but it's just not worth it. All right. And then certainly if you're going to do a custom-made item, you want to ask for a deposit before you buy supplies or start making anything. I generally ask for at least 50%. And people are generally happy to give that if it's a custom-made item. They understand that. I've had some people just say, you know what, I'll just pay you the whole amount, and then I just have to do one transaction. So that's certainly fine as well. Okay. Number 3 is about business cards. So you can have business cards made. You can go to Vistaprint.com. Actually, I think now they're called Promotique or something like that. And you can get business cards made for free. And then you just pay for the shipping, which is a few dollars. Or what I like to do is just buy cardstock, buy the big, ream of cardstock at the office supply store or Walmart or something like that, and just make my own. So most word processing programs that are installed on computers when you get them have a template for making business cards. So you can just do that as a free option. All right. In terms of the frequency of making posts, number 4 here is I would suggest that you post 1 to 2 times per week. So you don't want to flood people with posts about your items, but you also want to stay present enough in their memory that they remember you and they can think about you if they need something made, if somebody has a birthday coming up or they want to decorate for a holiday or whatever. So just to keep your name out there and keep your site active, really. And you can post pictures of your items. You can post your process that you're of making the item. You can post your craft room, however tragic it may be to you. People love to see behind the scenes kinds of things. You can do posts about things you're finding at the craft store, the stages of building your item, so pictures at each step. When I go to the craft stores, Hobby Lobby is notorious for putting items out well before the season. In fact, in July, they put out their Christmas items. So for those times when they put out the items way ahead of time, what I'll do is go take pictures of some of the items. So some of the signs or different elements that might be pretty in a centerpiece or swag or wreath, and post those to my page and just say, who wants a 4th of July wreath, or who's ready for fall, or something like that, and just see if anybody's interested. Sometimes I get responses while I'm in the craft store, and then I know, okay, I can pop right over there and grab that sign or what have you. A lot of times the posts don't come until afterwards, but that's okay because I didn't spend the money up front. I can it's easier for me to go back and do it. Now, of course, this only works if you're in relative close proximity to the store where you can go back like that. And sometimes I don't get any interest. People think it's pretty, or, oh, that's so great, or whatever, but they're not necessarily ordering anything. But again, these are options for keeping your page active. Number 5 is about posts, and it's about making posts that are geared toward engagement rather than just your sale posts only. So, for example, you can ask your followers a question, or you can poll them. So, for instance, you can say, okay, Christmas is coming up. What's your preference? The red and green style of wreath, or the blue and white, or silver and white, or whatever. And you can create a poll on your Facebook page and ask them for their input. Or you can post several different items of a similar style, maybe all made of burlap, or all sorts of different items, and just ask them to post in the comments which one is their favorite. This is just about getting some engagement. All right, and then the other thing that I like to do when someone buys an item from me is, if they're interested or willing, I'll ask them to post a picture of my item at work. So what does it look like? Show me a picture of, or send me a picture of your item on the wall, or if you bought a centerpiece, show me what it looks like on your Thanksgiving table or whatever. And I've had people send pictures, and then of course I just always ask them, is it okay if I share this on Facebook? And most people are, it's anonymous, so most people are generally fine with that. I haven't had any trouble with that. But that lets people see the side of, how your items can be used. Most of my wreaths are taken on the same white door here behind me, so it's nice to have people show where your items are being hung within their home or something like that. It's just a nice different angle. Looking at number 6 here, people want personal. Let me say that again. People want personal. So they want to see the personal side. You want to endear potential customers to you by showing them your human side. So you can be relatively anonymous in doing that, or it can be something more personal, like a picture of you or a picture of your kids or something, as they're maybe doing a craft with you or something like that. But you can mix up the type of post that you make each week. So some sale posts, some engagement, or those polls that we're mentioning, or something that's more personal. So here's some ideas that I came up with. Just interesting things that aren't necessarily craft related, maybe, like an inspirational phrase or your favorite quote, a meme that was going around on Facebook that you really liked, or your favorite scripture from the Bible that you want to use just to lift someone's day. You can post something about yourself, like a picture of and the recipe for maybe your favorite dish for the holiday that is coming up. So your favorite Thanksgiving dish, or your favorite 4th of July appetizer that you like to have out for people, or something like that. Or you can just post a picture of something inspiring that you came across, let's say, while you're traveling. So again, the idea is just to keep your page active. Number 7, advertise in the local paper. So the classified section of the paper, it's generally easy to advertise there, and it's generally either free or relatively inexpensive. So that's one idea for reaching a broad audience, as well as the social media that we've discussed. Number 8, you can ask friends and family members to share their share your posts to their Facebook page or groups that they're a part of, again, if that's allowed, if that's permitted with the rules. But a lot of times you can get friends and family members who are happy to just share to their page, hey, look what my cousin is doing, or, you know, my sister's working on this great project, and it's not a big deal. Number 9, you can do free Facebook Lives or DIY videos on YouTube. And those are both free options, and you can do a little bit of searching or have someone who is internet savvy kind of set you up with doing that. It's not very difficult. Technology is not my bailiwick, but I can generally figure out most things with a search, or if in doubt, just ask a child, because they seem to know more about how to use technology these days than we do. All right. So when you do the lives or the DIY videos, you can show how you make a product. I've done a few of those. You guys may have seen some of those. I did a sunflower that was really popular. So you can show people how you make your items. You can show them how you pack an item to ship it, to make sure that it's, you know, not damaged in shipping. You can do a video on how your craft room is organized, or how your supplies are organized in a particular section by color or style or what have you. You can do a video on just about anything. And sometimes people are generally interested in the how-to videos for the products, but a lot of times they feel overwhelmed by their craft room or something and they want tips on how to organize it. So that's another option. All right, moving on. Number 10, offer a special holiday discount or deal. And the psychology of advertising is such that even a small discount or price reduction makes people think they're getting something for nothing. And then that increases their desire to have it. I remember a while back, JCPenney switched CEOs, I believe it was, and they started a fair and square marketing campaign. And instead of doing, you know, discounts and sales and doorbusters and all the stuff that JCPenney was famous for, they switched to this fair and square. So the price on the tag was the price that you got it for. And maybe you'd find some items on clearance or whatever, but there weren't sales. And they almost went out of business. They actually released that CEO and hired another one and went back to the idea of markdowns and reductions and stuff. So it's the psychology of advertising, and it really does work. Another thing that I like to do is offer gift certificates for some of my best customers at Christmas. So you'd be amazed at how appreciative someone is if you offer them something as little as a $10 gift card, or you bless them with a 10 or 20% discount off of one of your products. It's really a great way to honor your return customers, and they really love it. All right. Number 12, give your items as gifts to your child's teachers or caregivers. So each year our PTA, and actually it's the homeroom mom, will gather a list of likes and dislikes from the teachers. And I like to take those and design items that are in line with some of the things that they like. Sometimes it's a gift basket. Last year I did some handmade ornaments. Again, this is another way just to get your product out there, get your name out there, and increase your exposure. And you can do a lot of, small items really inexpensively. Number 13, you can do a giveaway on Facebook to accumulate likes, or you can say that you're doing a giveaway once you hit the next marker in your likes. So if you're at 886 and you want to reach 900, obviously, and beyond, but you can say, okay, just 14 more likes, and I'm going to do a giveaway once I reach 900. And what you'll do is you can ask people to share your page with a certain number of their friends, 3, 5, 10, whatever, and then they can make a note in the comments when they've done so. And then they're entered into they're entered into a drawing for a gift certificate, maybe an item you currently have in stock, or a custom item up to a certain value. Of course, you can put a dollar limit on it. And this is a good way to get rid of items, maybe stock that you've had for a while, because you're clearing out your craft room to make room for making more items. So it works for that as well. It doesn't have to be after a certain number of likes. You can just randomly do it if you want, or do it, around Christmas time or something like that. All right, number 14, Donate a wreath to a local business or agency in a high traffic area like a chamber of commerce or something like that, and make sure your card is visibly hanging from the item so that folks can see how to reach you or where to get that. You can even ask if they'll let you display some of your cards on a counter or shelf somewhere nearby. Run a clearance sale, number 15, on items that you've previously made that either aren't moving or items from a past season. So if you're, moving out of fall, like the fall items I'm working on here, if you're moving out of fall and getting ready for Christmas, then you can run a clearance sale and do the psychology of advertising thing where you do some markdowns. If it's a clearance, obviously, people are going to expect pretty low prices, so you may or may not want to call it that. You may just want to call it seasonal sale or something like that. You can present it as a sale also to make room in your craft room to get ready for new items that you're going to be making. Or if you're getting ready for a show or sale, you can say, I need to clear out some of my inventory. Or if you're getting ready to load up on supplies for the upcoming season. So these are just angles of approach for something like this, reasons that you can say that you're doing the sale. All right, number 16, save money on supplies. So this may seem pretty obvious, but I'm just going to share some things here that maybe some of you don't know or places you haven't tried. So one of my favorite places is the 99-cent and dollar stores. So you'd be amazed at actually what you can find there. The silk flowers are going to be of a lesser quality generally than Hobby Lobby, but depending on what you're using them in or the particular style, you can find some really nice stuff there that will work. I have found that ribbon and some of the other items are of lesser quality, so you just want to double check that. And then the length is a lot of times shorter. So for instance, at Dollar Tree, their ribbon comes in 9-foot rolls and it's pretty thin. It's only 9 feet. It's only $1. But it's only 9 feet. So that may be just enough to tick you off, or you can't get that bow made or something like that. So just be mindful of that and just check out the quality is the bottom line. Dollar General stores are another good place to shop. I found that they have some really cute decor items that you can add to centerpieces and wreaths and things like that. And their seasonal stuff is just really cute when they put that out. The Thanksgiving items that they had last year were really cute. Scarecrows, pumpkins, you name it, standard stuff, but for a really good price and generally made relatively well. Like anything, you're going to get what you pay for, so just inspect it thoroughly and think about, what you're using it for. All right, shop Walmart stores. So Walmart has surprised me. They have really good prices on grapevine wreaths, and they also have all types of burlap. That's where I generally get the burlap for my sunflower wreaths. And then I did some 4th of July wreaths with the red, white, and blue burlap, and those were a hit. They've also really stepped up their flower section. So generally their flower section is divided into 2 or 3 sections. So they'll have an end cap or a kiosk in the middle where they put, a display, or if it's seasonal, like they had the red, white, and blue flowers for 4th of July, they'll have that. And then within the aisle where the burlap and the wreaths and all of that is, there are 2 sections of flowers. So there's the standard section. Hobby Lobby does this too with some of their stems, or the big floral section. So there's the general section where, that's the big section of flowers. It's going to be the biggest section of flowers in the store. And then down at the other end, usually, there's a section of flowers that they're nicer, they're more well-made, they're also more expensive. But if you're doing something that people are going to see up close, or something that's not going to be outside exposed to the elements, you might want to invest, $1 more here or $2 there to make that look really nice. It's kind of like diamonds. If you're buying diamonds and it's on a ring or something that is going to be up close, then they say buy a good quality. If it's earrings like studs or a necklace or something, they say you can buy something of lesser quality with a blemish or what have you, and you can't really see it. So I kind of look at it that way. Sometimes it's worth spending the extra money on those really nice flowers or decor pieces. So just a silly analogy. All right, next we want to, oh, at Walmart, one other thing. Their mesh is stiffer and it's generally harder to work around a wreath. Maybe some of you have had better luck with that, or maybe they've changed it. I generally will stay away from their mesh just because it's stiffer and my ribbons don't want to lie over it and I can't maneuver it very well. So just a warning on their mesh there. If anybody has had better luck with that or seen that they've changed the quality, certainly post that in the comments and I will give it another try, because their prices are really good on mesh. All right, so continuing with saving money, I would suggest researching prices for your supplies across various sites. So there's Craft Outlet, Paper Mart, the Wreath Shop. Amazon has had some really pretty filler and some lavender stuff I was looking at lately. And then you can certainly shop the clearance section for like Craft Outlet or whatever and buy off-season items. So that's if you have the storage and you can afford to do that, you can get a great deal on those off-season items. Ribbon is generally a good one because if you're doing swag, centerpieces, wreaths, you know, the lanterns or what have you, you're generally going to use ribbon. So that's generally the first place that I'll look. Okay, saving money again, shop resale, consignment, and thrift stores. So here I'm referring to like Goodwill, Savers, Salvation Army, and then there are local thrift stores, at least out here by us in Arizona, that support different shelters. So there's domestic violence shelters, animal shelters, homeless shelters, and they have these thrift stores or consignment stores set up, and the monies from those sales fund those agencies, which I think is just a really great idea. And they just work off of donations just like Goodwill and the other stores. So you'd be amazed at some of the stuff that you can find in those places for a really good price. Never hurts to look, especially if it's close by. All right, next, of course, my all-time favorite place to shop for craft stuff is Hobby Lobby. And you certainly want to do that when items are half off. So mostly the stuff that I use falls into two categories. So ribbon, which is regular ribbon, but they also include mesh and burlap, and then floral. So their silks section and the stems and florals and stuff. And what they do is they put these on sale on alternate weeks. So sometimes I'll have a customer order that involves ribbon and flowers, and I'll just let them know, look, I just tell them directly, Hobby Lobby puts these on sale on alternate weeks. I don't have this stuff on stock, so I will need to get it there. It is going to take a little longer for you to get your product. Is that okay? And most people are more concerned about saving money than having it immediately, so they're totally fine with that. That's not really a problem that I've run into. Every now and then someone will say, I'm having a party and I had one lady who was having people over around Thanksgiving for a fall dinner party. And she said, I just decided to do this dinner party. Can you make me some hanging baskets in like a week? You know, in that case, you know, you're not going to be able to do that. But what I did, since those were going to be hanging out in the elements and they were going to be hanging up high, I was able to get most of the flowers from the Dollar Tree, and they worked well. She loved them. So you just got to offer it, you know, and then they have to just let you know if they're in a hurry to have the item, and then you want to just tell them, you know, it may be more expensive, unless, of course, you have those things on hand. All right, so certainly when we're trying to save money, one of the things Mama taught us was to shop with coupons. So Joann, Michaels, and Hobby Lobby always have an online coupon for 40 to 50% off one item. And that is on their website, or more conveniently on their app. You can find those free apps in the App Store or Google Play, and then you can access those when you're in the store. Okay. Sign up for free emails and or snail mail from craft stores, and you can get coupons and information about special promotions that way. So stuff just standard, you know, old school, if you will, that comes through the mail, the coupons and things like that. You can also download the free craft store apps. I mentioned that, and that makes it easy to pull up and see what's on sale. So if you're, you know, buzzing around, got a couple errands to run, and one of the places you're going has a craft store nearby, and you forgot, but you're out and you remembered, oh, I need to grab some grapevine wreaths or something. you can pull up on the app really quickly what the coupons are and then just pop in there while you're out running errands if you have time. Joann is really good about having a lot of great coupons on their app. They're my favorite for that. And you can, the apps are really good to search for products on the spot. So, you know, if it's not at that store, then it can tell you another store that it's at. Obviously, a customer service representative can tell you the same thing, but sometimes those are pretty hard to find in stores, so I like to have it in the app where I can just search it up. All right, and then the last one on saving money, you can get a free app that has a scanning function and do your own in-store price comparison. So my favorite is Amazon, just because we use Amazon a lot. We pay for the Prime shipping and all of its benefits. And I have the Amazon app, and when you open the app, it's got a little camera up by the search bar. You just click on that, and it automatically asks you what you want to scan. Is it a barcode or QR or whatever? And then you just scan the code and it pulls it up and it tells you what the price is. A lot of times Amazon is cheaper, but I have found where some of the craft stores are actually cheaper, especially if there's a coupon or if that's, you know, that section is 30% off or something like that. But it's nice to have that. And then if you just want a general one, you can go to Google Play or the App Store and just type in free scanning app. And you can find general scanning apps that aren't affiliated with any particular retailer. All right, moving on, number 17. You can sell your items on general online sales sites. So I'm talking about things like Pinterest, Amazon, eBay. Now, fees are definitely going to apply, but you do reach an enormous audience potentially that way. Some of the places like Etsy, I find is really saturated with some of the things that I particularly sell, but it's only 10 cents a listing. They do take a good chunk of your money nowadays, which I'm not a huge fan of. But again, you're reaching a really broad audience, and so you could potentially increase your sales and maybe make up for a little bit of that in the volume of your selling. All right, so number 18, you can sell your items on an online sale specifically for handmade items. So when I was doing research, I just went into my browser and typed craft sales sites and just searched that up, and there are a ton of options for selling your handmade items. So most of you are familiar with Etsy and, you know, stuff like that I just mentioned. But if you do a search, you're going to get a ton of generally free or low-cost sales avenues. So Artfire, Zibbit, Bonanza, those were some that I ran into. Handmade at Amazon. So Amazon has a particular handmade section. That one, of course, is not going to be free. One completely free site that I found is called Shop Handmade, and it's just shophandmade.com. Be sure you give that a look. I recently set up a storefront on there if you'd like to see just kind of how that works and look at some items. So if you go to shophandmade.com, you just do a search for Love Letters by Jennifer, and it's the only one out there. My page comes up and you can just kind of see how I have the items set up. So some of them, depending on the margin that I have when I make an item, some of the items I'm able to offer free shipping, or even raise the price just a little bit to offset the free shipping and offer free shipping, or just say, you know, shipping is extra, and, you know, that depends on obviously the zip code that the customer lives in. But Love Letters by Jennifer on Shop Handmade if you want to take a look at kind of how that works. All right, number 19, create a crafting blog or website with an option to become a subscriber. So I haven't done this for crafts. I have done this for my professional page, and every day I'm getting emails about new subscribers. So, you know, people see a post or that they like, and maybe they're a friend of mine, but then they share it to their page, and then their friends of their friends of their friends or what have you, they see it, and then they'll sign up to be a subscriber. I do think that it's increased some of the spam. They're scammers too, but some of the spam mail that I've received. But there are ways around that and stuff that you can, you know, screen and filter a little better. I just haven't quite done that yet. So it's easier than you think. And again, just a how-to search will tell you how to set up that subscriber email. All right, number 20 is to create a free how-to ebook that you can offer on your Facebook page, you can offer it on your website, or you can use it to recruit subscribers to your page. Subscribe now and get a free copy of my ebook for how to make a sunflower wreath or something like that. Ebooks are really popular, and it's basically you're turning your, like a video, for instance, the sunflower wreath video that I did, I would turn that into prose and something for somebody to follow along, like reading a book. So it's just called an ebook, and you can offer those for free. Or for, if you, once you get up and running, there are people who charge for those how-to videos, tutorials, books, that kind of thing. But to get started, you might consider offering it for free. All right. 21. If you buy signs from someone, let's say in your craft group or on one of the sales sites online, you can ask them to post a picture of your finished product using their materials. So I actually did a wreath with a bumblebee, and the gal asked me to send her a picture of the finished product. So she actually asked me for that. But you can certainly ask those vendors and see if they would be willing to post it when they post their item, like, here's how this item can be used in a particular handmade item. So this bumblebee is used in a larger wreath or swag or something like that. But you can just ask them if they're willing to post it. You never know until you ask. They may say no thank you, but that's okay, because it doesn't cost you anything to ask the question. All right, number 22, search for craft shows that you can be a part of. So this is a great way to really get your product out there. So you want to make sure that it's a craft show that's doing a good amount of advertising on Facebook and other avenues, because if they don't have a lot of advertising, then the traffic flow isn't there. Certainly if it's a well-established group, that's great. If you can just kind of slide in, get in on their marketing, that's great. That's a really great way to get more people to come by and see your items. So you have to certainly check the fees on these craft shows and stuff. You may find, a booth fee of $100. I've been doing this for several years, and I've never paid $100 because it's just not worth it to me. So if you're just starting out, or you do it as kind of a sideline thing or whatever, it may not be worth it to you. But if you are going to do the craft shows, make sure that you're set up to use, to take credit cards using Square or another mobile processor. Make sure you have that function, because a lot of people are going to want to use credit or debit versus, not a lot of people generally carry cash with them. And if it's a craft show or a handmade show or something like that, you're getting a smaller audience, but generally these are people who enjoy craft shows or art fairs or what have you. So the buyer potential or the buying potential could be greater. Sometimes people are just really looking for a good deal, and that's when they want to lowball you and offer you $25 for something that took you $40 just to make. But again, we're just looking at options and trying to figure out how to get your product out there. So number 23, along those lines of the craft shows, you can start your own neighborhood or local craft fair with handmade items. So there was a gal in our neighborhood here who some years ago started a local craft fair, handmade items only, and you didn't have to live in the neighborhood, but just somewhere in the Phoenix metro area or the valley or what have you. And that craft show and my Facebook page have been the primary avenues that through which I've made most of my sales and gotten the most attention to my product. So this gal, she made bath and body products, handmade, and she just started going through Facebook and looking for other people who made handmade items. And she kept it with just strictly handmade. She didn't do any direct sales or what have you. And she just charged us $20 a piece for a booth and gave us a nice booth space. We were set up when it's cooler. We were set up outside her house, in her house, through into the backyard, depending on how many vendors. But that worked really great. We ended up with about 24 vendors and almost 2,000 likes to the page. And it just started out as a local, neighborhood kind of craft fair. So, you can join one of those or start your own if you don't, if there isn't one that you can find. The other thing is, if you go on Facebook and you over to the left side, you can click on events, or the 3 lines at the bottom if you're on your app or yeah, if you're on the app on your mobile device, then you can click on that and it'll pull up events, and you click on the events tab and it tells you about all sorts of events in your area and sometimes beyond. But that's a great way to do a search for craft shows and art fairs and things like that. And you just click on that event and you can get information about how to contact them or send them a message through Facebook Messenger. All right, we're in the home stretch here. Number 24, you can ask to display your items in a flower shop or a boutique or any other shop on consignment, even if it's not something they generally do. So there's a boutique in the area here, and she does, clothing, jewelry, shoes, accessories, that kind of thing. And a while back, she started carrying wood signs. So the rustic signs, farmhouse or different sayings on them or whatever, simple wood frame, a rustic background, and then painted lettering on it. And she started carrying those, and that vendor has done really well in there. So that wasn't something that this boutique owner was planning on, but somebody asked her and she took them up on the offer. And then, of course, if they agree to that, you want to make sure your business card is attached, and then make sure you can leave a stack of business cards somewhere also. Okay, number 25 is a suggestion to donate an item to a charity, raffle, or a silent auction. And certainly attach a business card or even a couple of them if you're doing a donation. I've had people from all over, no idea how they found my site or got my information, but they'll ask for raffle items. Somebody has, they're doing a cancer benefit or some other charity organization, and they want, to see if I have, if I'm willing to donate an item. And most of the time I've been able to. I've had some items on hand, and, it didn't cost me an arm and a leg to make it, so I was able to donate that, and then, of course, you get to write that off. But that's a nice way to get your name out there as well. And then, of course, just to do something good. Okay, number 26. If you've tried all of these and you're still not selling anything, or you just want to sell more, then ask for feedback. This can be painful, the, truth hurts kind of thing, but it can also be really helpful if you can get somebody to be honest with you. So some ways that you can ask for feedback. One is you can ask your significant other, family members, friends, whomever will listen to give you input on your items, what they think about it, or, a lot of times people will say, I like it, but it's not my style, or this is my style, and I would suggest that you make these changes, or, this is lopsided, or you've got too many of this, or whatever. Again, you're just looking for somebody to be honest with you. You can ask people in your Facebook craft groups for brutally honest feedback. I've seen that several times. Many of you probably have as well, where they say, here, I made this, but I'm not loving it. What feedback do you have, or what suggestions are you, can you give me? You have to make sure that you have a pretty thick skin on that one. So make like an elephant and get a pretty thick skin, because you ask people to be honest there. Some of them are really, really going to do it. Okay, also you can ask other crafters how they price their items. So I generally price my wreaths, centerpieces, and so on at twice the cost of the items, the materials rather, plus tax. So materials plus tax, and then I'll double that. I've seen some people say, to triple that. In the market that I'm in, that just wouldn't sell. It wouldn't work. The exception to that is if I am making something with really inexpensive items. So like the mesh curls wreaths, again, referencing those that I make. The mesh I get is generally from the Dollar Tree. I've bought some on clearance at Hobby Lobby or Joann or whatever, so that keeps the price down as well. But the mesh is generally from the Dollar Tree. So the materials for that, plus the, so the mesh, maybe a ribbon, and the wreath frame, you're just looking at literally, potentially less than $10 or $15. But those mesh curl wreaths are really time intensive. So you have to cut each piece of mesh, roll it up, and bunch it, 2, 3 to a bunch, whatever, and then attach it all the way around the wreath. And I like to make mine really full, so it takes a lot of time to do that. So the materials weren't that expensive, but it's labor that is expensive. So I'll end up pricing those wreaths, even though the materials were cheap, I'll end up pricing them at about the same price as another one of my wreaths, maybe of that same size, just because of the labor. So you just kind of have to weigh that out for yourself and see what works in your market, honestly. Okay. You can ask previous customers what they'd like to see you make. So if you're getting ready to make maybe your Christmas stock or whatever, you can poll your previous customers and see what kind of items they think you should make or what they'd be interested in. You're not asking them to commit to buy, necessarily, but just for some ideas. Hey, I'm getting started. What would you like to see this year? That kind of thing. You can ask, if you do a craft show, you can ask the craft show attendees what their favorite style is. So if you have multiple styles of wreath, or like here, I've got the colors. So I've got the traditional fall colors, or I've got kind of the white, more fall, but the white lighter colors. What's your favorite style? You can ask them, or which one do you like the best? Or, you can engage your audience that way, which also is known to increase sales. But also you can just get an idea, and you can just kind of make some notes in your little order book, and then, take a look at those later when you're getting ready to make those items. So any suggestions they're willing to offer. All right, number 27, last but certainly not least, be patient. You have to be patient. It can take several months or even years to build up a clientele or a steady stream of customers, or those repeat customers that we all love. So just be patient with yourself, with the process, with the development of a business, all of those things. Okay, you guys, that's all I have for you today. Again, if there's something I didn't mention or something that's worked for you or that you've had success at, then please feel free to put those ideas down in the comments so we can all learn from that and share. Certainly check out my other YouTube videos. I've got some how-to videos on different seasonal items that you might be interested in. And if you like what you see, I'd love for you to give me a like and subscribe to my channel here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that God blesses you in your endeavors beyond your imagination, and I will wish you happy crafting. Until next time.